Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom from 6 Foot Networks. Thank you for joining me. I wish I had better news for this video, but unfortunately I don't. I've been here for almost 2 weeks in South Carolina after we moved, and I'm still without a vehicle. And the worst part about it is I have since lost 3 cars that I could have had under the MSRP swap, but neither GM nor the local dealerships here can get their act together to really make it happen. So the trouble essentially started when cars show up online, they're typically being built. Like when you go into a dealership site and you search for a car, it'll tell you what the status is, and most of them say in transit, especially for Chevrolet. They'll just say they're in transit. In transit, they could be in transit from one station to another on the assembly line. In transit could mean that they're in transit from the assembly line to the test facility. In transit could also mean that they're actually being shipped to the dealership in question. So, just to give you guys an update, 3 cars, 2 GM agents, and I think about 6 dealerships now, and nothing has come out of it. I've given this program so much attention, so much effort, and I feel like now it's consuming my life. I am always frustrated, I am always angry, and I don't have time for anything else because I have to wait for GM to call, or I have to wait for the dealership to call or text or email or something, and nobody's in the same time zone. Actually, ironically, the dealerships and I are in the same time zone. GM is in Central Time, so they're an hour behind us. So trying to get a hold of somebody during the day, you might hit them at their lunch break, their union mandated smoke break, or whatever it is, and we essentially get nowhere quick. 2 weeks have gone by, 3 cars have come and gone. Those cars were essentially a black one, which pretty much matched, spec-wise, it matched the MSRP of my black 2020 Premier that I had. In fact, it was fully loaded, and this one's fully loaded too. It had the launch edition package, which had the sunroof, the Super Cruise package and all that stuff for 3 years, and whatever else is on there. I'm not going to get into the package trims right now, but suffice it to say that all 3 of these cars that I found here, and by the way, I have to do the legwork to find these cars. GM's not helping me find the cars. They're like, well, can you contact a local dealership and find out? Really, GM? Like, you're the one that has all these databases and information of where these cars are. Like, you can't tell me, hey, there's 10 here, or there's 3 here, or whatever, and these are the specs. Nope, I get to do the legwork. So I'm going on, like the first thing I did was I Google searched local Chevrolet dealerships. Got a list of, I think, 12 of them. In and around South Carolina, North Carolina. There's even one in Richmond, Virginia, Columbia, South Carolina, and I think that's kind of my circle right there. Didn't go as far west as Atlanta, but I'm trying to not go, 300 miles away to get a car. Anyway, sorry, this is frustrating. I need to just catch my breath here for a second. I essentially went back and I found all of the cars that matched the trim level, so that the MSRP would be identical, if not within $1,000 or $2 of what my MSRP was for the Bolt EV that I left in Los Angeles. In order to do that, you have to deal with half-baked websites, dealer websites, that take 24 hours to update. So a car might be in transit, or it might have been delivered, but they won't know it until the next day. But by then, somebody pushed the button and just put $1,000 down. And because I can't just do that, because of this whole program, I feel like I'm the one that's always going to get screwed out of potentially buying a car or potentially getting a car under this program because somebody will have bought it. In 10 days, 3 cars, which means my average is every 3 days, a car comes and goes without GM and that dealership being able to sync up. It's painful, and I'm frustrated, I'm upset, and I'm surprised I'm not breaking down in tears right now, because typically when I get that angry, I do one of 2 things. I take it out on a punching bag, a shooting range, or I cry. And for me right now, I'm trying to just keep my head in order because I am working and I am trying to, get everything taken care of with the new house, with the old house. We're still selling the old house in Los Angeles. And I'm telling you, this is tough. This is one of the worst things I've ever been a part of. For something to fail 3 times. And just this week alone, I lost 2 cars. Well, I didn't lose it, but GM couldn't move fast enough to get stock numbers and VIN numbers and whatever else the hell they needed when all of that information was on the website to begin with. You can download the window stickers right now of those vehicles. Those window stickers say VIN number, location, and I think some of them even say the stock number because they're marked up by the dealer. Nope, can't get our act together. So I lost all 3 of these were the same exact spec. The black one, there was a blue ice one, and then there was a red one. Not a fan of the red color, never been partial to incredibly flashy cars. I had a yellow car in the past, and I swore I'd never drive, red, yellow, or anything else that was like that. But I was willing to bite my tongue and get it just to be done with this process. Honestly, folks, I think I'm done. I feel like I've aged. I feel like I've lost health. I feel like I'm gaining weight, and I feel like I'm not doing my family any good by being this broken all the time, this stressed out, glued to my phone, glued to my computers all day, all night. At night, I'm looking for cars so that way first thing in the morning, I can call GM and say, hey, here's a list of cars, make one of these happen, only for them to drop the ball. I've never had more people apologize to me in emails or voicemails or to my face when it comes to Zoom meetings or whatever than I have had with these dealerships and GM. I mean, at least there's that. I'm glad they're human and that they apologize. But guess what? Apologies can only go so far. If your system is so broken that your customers are suffering health-wise, why the hell am I fighting so hard for this? Why have I been fighting since January of this year to get my car fixed, repaired, swapped, whatever, when nobody cares? Not a single GM dealership across the country seems to care about the Bolt EV recall. The one in Valencia, in Los Angeles, is going to take 10 years to fix the list of cars just for Santa Clarita. Because if there's, let's just say hypothetically, there's 10,000 cars, they do 2 a day, you do the math. Or 2 a week, I should say. If they do 24 cars in a year, 25 cars in a year, then it's a miracle. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get the math. I don't understand it. I've had so many conversations with so many different people telling me so many different things, and words are being spoken, and the actions that are following those words are completely backwards and completely asinine. And I just don't understand how a giant conglomerate like GM can allow this to happen. Why would they do this to the people that pay their salaries? They keep the company going. I don't know. I don't know. If this was my fault, if I purchased a car and then I destroyed it, I get it. GM shouldn't have anything to do with me. But this isn't my fault. I'm following their rules. I'm following their regulations. Why am I suffering for it? Nobody else cares. GM doesn't care. The dealerships don't care. They just want their money. And I can't give them my money because of a program that's half baked and broken and doesn't even make sense. You know, for me to hold my credit card in my hand, I held my credit card in my hand, and I said, I'm ready to give you my number. Only for the guy to say, hey, let me put you on hold real quick. Okay, I'll put you on hold. I sat down in this chair right here. I sat down in this chair, and I literally held my credit card in my hand, and I said, okay, I'll wait for this guy to get back. In the meantime, I think I ate something. It took a few minutes. He comes back on the phone. He's like, I can't take your money because if you do give me a deposit, you'll be responsible for full sticker. Excuse me? Yeah. So I couldn't even give them a deposit on the car that I really wanted to just be done with this whole process. And then I needed GM to fill out paperwork. They needed to send it. They needed to talk to the manager. By the time that conversation happened, the car was sold. They sold the car because apparently you can't, wait 3 hours until a process gets finished. No, if somebody comes in, they'll step on you and they'll take it right out from under you. And the dealerships have no regard whether you're in the process of, you could be in the middle of signing the paperwork for that car, but if somebody comes in and gives them money, it's done. Your paperwork will be shredded and you will be essentially sent back to the waiting room and asked to find a new car. The part that really kicked me today in the head was that I got a call from the dealership in North Carolina today, and they said, hey, we have a car that's coming to us. We'll put your name on it. We understand that we caused all the trouble that you're going through, blah, blah, blah. And I said, great, let me see it. And he said, oh, it's early on in the build process. It'll take a month to complete and to ship to us. And I said, you know what? I'm willing to wait. Can you tell me what the specs are? Because there wasn't even a price listed yet for it. The field for the price was blank, for MSRP was blank. And I guess that had to do with the fact that it was still being built or the feature sets weren't finalized or whatever. But they put me on hold. They went back and they looked for it. And ultimately, one thing led to another. Guy comes back and says, okay, here are the features. And he lists off like the adaptive cruise and the speakers and battery life and whatever else, the range and whatnot. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I need to know what packages are in it because I need to judge in my head whether or not this will come close to the MSRP of the car that I gave to GM, that I took back to Chevy. And he said, well, let me look that up. He got some sales manager to look the VIN number up or something, or however they have it listed in the system. And it turns out that this was just the base bone Premier that had, just the entry-level stuff in it, whatever the Premier comes with. And I told him, well, that means you're trying to offer me a car that's in the 30s, but yet I gave you guys a car that was damn near $44,000. That means I need a car that was $44,000. That's what an MSRP swap is. That's what GM explained to me. The numbers need to match as close as possible because GM's not going to cut me a check for $12,000 or $15,000 as part of this option. And the guy's like, well, we don't have any. We sold them both yesterday. And I'm like, really? Is this still happening? So fast forward to right now, which is 3 p.m. on Wednesday, the 29th. And I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm done. Give me my money and that's it. And GM better meet me 80% of the way because I got a story to tell. And it's much more detailed than what's in this video. I have emails, I have text messages, and I'll be damned if I get nothing, nothing more than at least what fair value is plus all my trouble. Because I know with the straight repurchase, they take into account mileage driven, the condition of the vehicle, which the car was spotless. I took care of it greatly. Granted, the inside was filthy, but nothing a good vacuum wouldn't take care of. But I can't put enough emphasis onto how painful this was, because I wanted to do the right thing for my family, for my business, for everything that car revolved around, And I think the only good part that came out of all of this was the fact that GM allowed me to leave my car over there versus me spending the $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever it was to ship it across the country, because we were going to drive my wife's RAV4 out here with a U-Haul attached to it. I don't know what to do. I know this video turned into a rant, and I have nothing positive to say. And at this point, my distaste for Chevrolet as a whole, and the dealerships and their policies of how they do things, not to mention GM's lackadaisical commitments or lack thereof to me and anybody else that's suffering through this, I feel for you, and I sympathize with those that have been suffering through the same kind of nonsense that I have been. And had I known in the beginning what this was going to be all about, then I would have just literally went for the money and just called it quits. And guys, in all honesty, I'm thinking about just taking the cash and putting a down payment on a used Tesla of sorts that's sitting on a lot somewhere at this point, because, you guys know my stories about Tesla, but I just don't know what else to do. A lot of the other EVs, in my opinion, are not great. I think they were rushed to the market just to compete, and recalls are starting to pop up left and right for those. And I think Tesla has a big bone to chew with regard to the fact that this is 100% of their business. Elon's made it clear for decades now that electric is the way to go, and he doesn't have an ICE vehicle, model that he's selling along with his, 4 models of Teslas, not to mention the new ones that are coming out, the truck and whatnot. So I think I just got to go where I got to go to just finish this off, because my beard is getting grayer and this is all new. Like, I don't know what to even make of this. And I feel like in the last 65 days, maybe a little less, I feel like I've aged 15 years. That's all I can say. Things are getting harder to do. It's harder for me to get up in the morning. It's tough for me to even fall asleep. I'm obviously not eating right. I'm always in a hurry. I'm in between, projects and projects and projects. And it's like, my brain's just not taking it very well. So I am going to leave this off here, because I do have a meeting that I have to get to here in about 2 or 3 minutes. But I wanted to take the time and record this. I'll upload this here in a minute, and if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or what have you, as always, take them down to the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. It always makes my day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being, an avid listener of ours and a fan of the channel. Can't do this stuff without you guys. Thanks again. And until next time, bye-bye.